The following program is brought to you by NLTV, the People's Platform.
Aloha and welcome to a special episode of OPO Media Makers, where we spotlight the next generation of storytellers, creatives, and changemakers right here on Hawaii Island. I'm your host, Ashley Kierkiewicz, and today we're chatting with a remarkable young person, Rhyann Rimmer. Rhyann will graduate from Hilo High School in May. She's been selected as a recipient of NLTV's olono Scholarship for the Spring 2025 semester. This is an award that we created to uplift Hawaii Island youth pursuing careers in media, broadcast, and journalism. Rhyann is headed to Northeastern University in Boston this fall, where she plans to study creative media. And she is passionate about using her art to bring more color and joy into the world, which is so beautiful. She's got big dreams of launching a marketing firm to uplift local communities and support small businesses. Rhyann, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. First off, congratulations on being a scholarship award winner. Tell us what you thought when you read the email announcing that you were one of the winners.
Well, oh my gosh. Okay, so I was sitting in the dining room and I was just like on my phone. And I get the email and I'm like, wait, what? What? And this season I've been getting my college acceptance letters, job acceptance letters, just every kind of acceptance letter. And this was just like above everything else. Honestly, I was so surprised. This was my first scholarship to have won. And after some like not getting it and, just feeling like, okay, like worrying about that, this was really just like all of that weight fell off my shoulders. And it was just it felt so good, honestly, to say that. Yeah. It was great.
I'm so happy to hear that, and we are so proud of you and so glad that we could have granted you this award. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How would you describe who you are both as a student and as a creative?
Well, luckily for me, I've always had a lot of creative outlets in my house. My whole family, they all have their own creative means. So I've always been an artist from the first time that I was able to get my hands around a crayon to now. I like to do all kinds of different things, photography, formal like visual art, and writing. So I would definitely say that creativity is one of my most defining aspects as a person. I definitely love my family. They are above everything else. And for school, I would say that I'm very hardworking. I have always put school on my highest priority list. I love to learn. I like to incorporate creativity and just like uniqueness into everything that I do. And I'm really excited to be able to go off and study that in school and really focus on it.
All the way in the East Coast.
Yeah.
I really think that you are somebody that just embodies the artist way. Right? Artists are naturally very curious. They're problem solvers. They're risk takers. And so you don't have any boundaries of being an artist, just for your art form, but really it's just a way of life for you, which is so beautiful. Is there a defining moment or a memory for you that kind of was the aha moment for why you wanted to pursue creative media as your career?
Well, like I said, I've always kind of been interested in art and just being creative and expressing myself. But really, last year, I was attending an art school and I was able to get my hands on all kinds of different materials. And they really just let me open myself up to anything that I wanted to do. And that was when I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the best because I'm able to do what I want. I'm able to talk to who I want to. I was able to compete in my first art competition. And just being in a group of peers that really everybody was really enjoying the same subjects and topics and being able to express themselves through art was just amazing for me. And I was like, I have to have more of this.
Is there a particular medium, photography, design, painting, collage? Is there a particular medium that you gravitate to? Because it feels like it's an amalgamation of all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I have to say I've worked mainly with collaging stuff in like a sort of mixed media way. I like to work on canvas and include like every kind of material I can get my hands on, whether it be paper, wood, fabric, all different kinds of like paints and marker, everything. And then more recently, I've started to dive into photography, which has been really fun and really interesting. And I'm really learning that I really like that about myself. But yeah, it's kind of just everything. And then even sometimes I'll have like one of my favorite paintings, I did a whole collage and painted on top of it. And then one of the last pieces that I decided to add to it was I took the middle portion of a poem that I wrote and wrote it horizontally, or is vertically horizontally. I can never remember. Up and down across. And it's just so interesting to see everybody and they're trying to like read it, and only I know what it means. And it's so yeah, I would just say it's kind of a lot of everything.
I love the blending of the different art forms and mediums of media. You mentioned in your application wanting to bring creativity into the world, color and joy. How will you achieve that, and why is that important to you?
Well, I've always been one to love color, definitely love joy. Who doesn't? But for me personally, I think that there's a lack of color in the world today just because everybody's so focused on keeping it sleek and minimalistic. And I think that adding some color, adding some pop, adding some charisma would just really open up all of our brains up to, just being able to have that extra sense of creativity. And it's crazy how much color can change your mood and how you think. And I think that, like you mentioned before, how I wanted to start a marketing firm, if we just add like more color and more interesting aspects into what we see every day, whether like in ads and stuff, I think it could make everybody just a little bit more happy.
So it sounds like rather than this very manicured, slick, minimalist approach, those pops of color really draw out a different kind of energy, and I think send a really strong message that it's okay to be messy.
Right.
It's okay to be chaotic,
Yeah.
right? Like explore who you are, your authenticity, and do that with color. Step
Yeah,
out of the
exactly.
lines, color outside of the lines. You're heading to Northeastern.
Yep.
That is so exciting.
I know.
My dad's from Boston, so
Really?
a lot of love for the East Coast. What are you most excited to learn or experience there?
Oh my gosh, that is probably the hardest question. I don't even know. Just it's going to be my first time, being on my own and going off, going to school. It's going to be interesting to find out what I'm like on my own, and trying to figure out how to just be a regular adult. I'm excited to meet people and experience an entirely new culture over there. Eat lots of really good food. I don't just I'm excited about everything, honestly. Really excited about school.
Fantastic. Do you happen to know anybody that's going to be living in Boston or going to Northeastern with
Only
you?
one girl that I met online who's going to be my roommate. We've FaceTimed a couple times. And she is from San Antonio, Texas, which I've never met her before then. And it'll be really exciting to see what she's like.
That's so awesome that, in today's day and age, you're able to like FaceTime and
Yeah.
establish that friendship
Right.
before you actually move in together. In your application, you talked about having moved many times throughout your life, 16 times, which is
Yes.
really an incredible feat. And what makes it more impressive is that throughout your journey, you've been able to maintain a 4.0 GPA. I think your GPA is even higher than 4.0.
Yeah, just a little bit higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
What has that experience of moving around and having to reorient yourself to new communities, what has that taught you about who you are?
Well, so the best way to explain this is that when I was younger, like elementary, middle school, I was really shy as a person. I had a hard time making friends. Actually, in 5th grade, the parent-teacher night, when you first go and meet your teacher before school, my first thing that I said to my teacher was, hey, I'm Ryan and I'm really shy and short. And she was like, what? Well, you don't seem shy. And I always thought to myself, like, I'm the shy girl, always being the new student. It was really interesting for me to find out later on when I would be switching schools and I would be older in high school age that I don't have a hard time with that anymore. And that's one thing that I've really overcome is that I'm not really that shy person that I originally was. And I think that moving around has really helped me like come out of my shell. And that's one thing that I'm extremely grateful for.
You come across as not only confident, but very poised and very values oriented and rooted. You have a very strong sense of ohana, which is really beautiful, right? Family over anything. Um, how have all of these moves and your personal journey of growth influenced who you are as an artist and what you create?
Okay, so actually, my most recent painting, I painted all of the houses that I've lived in because I'm taking AP 2D art right now. And my topic is nostalgia and identity. And I feel like that is obviously a really defining part of my life. But to answer your question, that's just a fun fact. But to answer your question, it's just been, to say the least, interesting. I've been really grateful for it. I don't view it as a negative thing. I actually have enjoyed it. Just being able to like experience new places and get to meet new people. Now I have friends all over the place, which is a really cool thing. I still talk to most of them too, which is awesome. But I would say that moving around has definitely made us a lot closer, my family and I. And it's never been a bad thing. We've always been together and it's always been just a new adventure.
Love that. Embracing the adventure, the unknown, and
Yeah.
knowing you can do it together with your family, I think just provides a certain sort of strength that's kind of needed to navigate the unknown. You mentioned that this scholarship is really meaningful to you. What does it mean to have your hard work recognized in this way?
Really, it means that I feel like I've finally like am being seen for my work and like who I am. Because like I said, this is the first scholarship that I've gotten. It's validating in the fact that I feel that I am an artist. You always think like, oh, I want to be an artist, but now I feel like I am an artist because somebody is seeing that and they're saying, oh yeah, you're an artist. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yay. So it's kind of like a dream come true in that sense. And it's great for school, which is going to help me pursue a career in creativity and art. So it really just was the first like stepping stone to make me feel like I am actually going somewhere with this dream and it's gonna come true.
Well, we saw a lot of potential in you and your application and your portfolio. So we're so grateful to meet you today, but to be supporting you in your journey. Ryan, congratulations again on being one of our recipients of the Ho'olono Scholarship. We are so proud of you and so excited to see where your media journey takes you.
Thank you so much. I can't express how grateful I am for this opportunity. You guys have been wonderful.
Thank you. Mahalo nui.